Welcome to this week's segment of Around the World. My name is Pooja. In the present times, Turkey has been striving to improve its relations with several regional powers. Hitherto, Turkey was making efforts to restore ties only with the Muslim world, countries such as the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. But now, Turkey has decided to cement its relations with the country, which is considered to be the arch enemy of the Muslim world. It is a country with which Turkey's relations have always remained tense. We are talking about Israel, a Middle Eastern country. Recently, the foreign minister of Turkey and the energy minister was on an official visit to Israel. It was the first visit by Turkish ministers to Israel in the past 15 years. As the mutual relations between both the countries remained strained for the past several years, the Palestine issue was the bone of contention between both the countries. Earlier, Israel's President Isaac Herzog had also visited Turkey in March 2022. Against this backdrop, it is speculated that Turkey is trying to improve its relations with Israel at the expense of Palestine. We will discuss this issue in detail in today's story. We will also try to understand that why Turkey is improving its relations with all the regional powers, including Israel. Is Turkey improving its ties with Israel at the cost of Palestine, or whether there are some other motives behind Turkey's move? We will also try to see Israel's stand on fostering ties with Turkey. First of all, let us discuss about Turkey. If we look at the world map, we will find that some part of Turkey is located in Europe, while the rest of the part of Turkey is located in Asia. The Sea of Marmara and Bosphorus, as well as the Dardanelles Strait, together divide Turkey between Asia and Europe. Turkey is bordered by the Black Sea to the north, Georgia and Armenia to the northeast, Azerbaijan and Iran to the east, Syria to the southeast, and the Mediterranean Sea to the southwest and the Aegean Sea to the west. While to the northwest, it shares its borders with Greece and Bulgaria. Ankara, Turkey's capital, is located in its Asian territory, while Istanbul, Turkey's largest city and port, lies in the European territory. However, Istanbul also extends to Asia in the other side of the Bosphorus Strait. Turkey occupies Marmara, the Bosphorus, and the Dardanelles, the only sea route connecting the Black Sea to the rest of the world. Hence, Turkey has better relations with the countries connected to the Black Sea. Israel-Turkey relations were formalized in March 1949, when Turkey recognized the State of Israel. Turkey was the first country in the Muslim world to recognize Israel. Both the countries had put military, strategic, and diplomatic cooperation at the fore by sharing the concerns of regional instability in the Middle East. As per the New York Times, the strategic partnership between Turkey and Israel in the 1990s had the potential to transform Middle East politics, as mutual trade and tourism between both countries was booming rapidly. The Israeli Air Force practiced maneuvers in Turkish airspace, and Israeli technicians were modernizing Turkish fighter jets. Both countries had also planned for high-tech cooperation and water sharing. For this purpose, Recep Tayyip Erdogan made an official visit to Israel in 2005. However, later on, the relations between Turkey and Israel deteriorated rapidly due to various issues. Now a question arises that why the relations between Turkey and Israel deteriorated rapidly. The Gaza War of 2008 and 9 and the Gaza flotilla raid of 2010 severed relations between both the countries. An Israeli commando team killed 10 Ottoman activists who were trying to break the economic blockade of Gaza in the flotilla raid. In March 2013, Israel apologized for the raid while trying to restore relations with Turkey. Later, in October 2013, information about Israel's special agents in Iran was leaked, and Turkey was held responsible for this information leak. This incident fueled the tensions between both countries. However, the diplomatic rift between them ended in 2016 when Israel announced compensation for the raid incident. As a result, diplomatic relations between them got restored. However, in December 2017, the US decision of recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and transferring the US embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem escalated tensions between Turkey and Israel once again. In 2018, several Palestinians were killed when the Israeli forces opened fire on protesters in Palestine. Turkey withdrew its ambassador from Israel after this incident. Turkey also vehemently condemned the recent clashes at the Al-Aqsa Mosque. At present, there is no diplomatic relations between both the countries at the embassy level. Discordance over the territories of Palestine and the status of Jerusalem have hindered normal relations between both the countries. Furthermore, there are many other regional issues such as the 2013 coup in Egypt and 2015 Iran nuclear deal, the withdrawal of US troops from Syria in 2019 and Turkey's military operations in Syria, on which there is non-concurrence between Turkey and Israel. The Turkish Foreign Minister Cavusoglu has stated that he will hold talks with Israeli Foreign Minister Yair Lapid to reinstate ambassadors. But will it be at the expense of Palestine? Turkish officials have often reiterated the relations with Israel will not be normalized to the detriment of Palestine. The political and economic relations with Israel are separate from the Palestine issue. Then another pertinent question arises that why Turkey is restoring ties with Israel. Actually, Turkey is restoring ties with Israel majorly due to economic and diplomatic reasons. Cooperation in the energy sector is at the top of the Turkish agenda. Turkey is heavily dependent on Russia in terms of energy. In 2021, 45% of Turkey's gas demand was met by Russian imports. Since Turkey is also a member of NATO, therefore, Turkey is bound to comply with the sanctions imposed by the US on Russia. Hence, Turkey desires to diversify its energy supply. When the US indicated that it no longer supports Israel's plan for a gas pipeline to Europe via Cyprus and Greece, then Turkey got an opportunity to diversify its energy supply. It expressed its willingness to participate in this Israeli project. It intends to take this natural gas project of Israel to Europe via its territory. Turkey is already keeping a close eye on Israel's developing resources. Also, Turkey has decided to restore ties with Israel due to its deteriorating economy. Its economy is going through a dismal phase these days. Its currency, lira's value has fallen to a very low level against the dollar and inflation is at its peak in the country. Turkey intends to expand its trade and commerce so that the economy can boom. Therefore, it is trying to restore relations with all the surrounding countries. It has taken several initiatives to cement relations with the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt as a part of this plan. On the other hand, Israel has established friendly relations with the UAE and Bahrain, as well as African countries like Sudan and Morocco. Turkey's relations with Egypt and Syria are already amicable. When all Muslim countries are moving closer to Israel, then Turkey does not want to get ostracized in the Middle East by straining relations with Israel. Turkey is willing to open diplomatic doors to every surrounding country. Moreover, it does not want its surrounding countries to establish ties with Greece and Cyprus as it may threaten Turkey's security in the future. Now, the final question arises that what is Israel's stand on the visit of Turkish minister to Israel? Israel wants to discuss Turkey's association with Hamas before taking a decision on cooperating on energy projects. Hamas is an organization which is fighting an armed struggle with Israel for the complete independence of Palestine. Israel believes that Turkey publicly supports the terrorist group Hamas. Moreover, Israel also wants to discuss the issue of the return of ambassadors and the resumption of bilateral strategic ties, as Israel's special emphasis is on the restoration of diplomatic relations. At present, economic relations are a second priority for Israel. However, during Herzog's visit to Turkey, both Herzog and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan had expressed their desire to normalize all relations. In such a scenario, it will be interesting to see that will Turkey and Israel be able to concretize their relation? Will Turkey succeed in persuading Israel to cooperate on its energy projects or not? The question for today is, why is Turkey increasing its proximity with Israel despite their historical enmity? Evaluate. Thank you so much for watching.